What is up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel, however that may work out for you. Today, we're doing a product review. Yes, another product review. Inside this box is something that I realized I needed, something that I also wanted. It's a system that converts your in-ear monitor to a wireless in-ear monitor. And for what I do here, live streaming, being connected to cables, and yet trying to switch camera angles and move around and do different things, having a wire attached to you, well, it sucks. So let's get into it. So why is this important to me, or why would this be important to somebody else? Because if you're like me and you do a lot of hype streams where, you know, the alerts are going off, the dingy dingies, bells and whistles are sounding off, you kind of want to have that directly in your ear. Now, don't get me wrong. I have two monitors over here, two monitors over here. When I say monitors, I'm talking about reference monitors. I'm talking about speakers. However, one of the issues that I would run into, or anybody could run into, is if you don't have your mic set right and the music's too loud or the notifications are too loud and it opens up the threshold of the noise gate, then it's going to come into the microphone and possibly create like maybe a feedback or a latency stacking issue of some sort and not sound right. And let's just be honest. Usually if I have the earbud in my ear and somebody gives me 20 subs, then that's loud and it makes me get hype, which makes the crowd get hype, which is a good thing. That's what we want. You see, normally I would have this wire connected to this wire. I don't know if you guys can see it, but the problem with that is when you're walking around, sometimes it pulls on something and it disconnects from the extension wire that goes to my Rodecaster Pro 2. If I'm recording like I'm doing right now, I'm using a lav mic and I don't have an in-ear monitor. I don't need one. I am strictly talking about hype streams, live streams, being able to hear in real time what's going on with your stream. That's very important, or at least it is to me, and I'm sure it is to others. So that's the purpose of this video. So let's unbox this thing and see what it can do. So we have the two units here. This is the transmitter. Literally says it right here. We have the receiver and obviously a manual here. There are some connectors in the box. It's like we have a charger to charge both. It's nice. That's convenient. USB-A to USB-C, double USB-C. We have a USB-C to USB-C cable here. We have a singular USB-A to USB-C. We have a 3.5 audio jack to 3.5 audio jack here. And a converter for a 3.5 to a 1/4-inch stereo, gold plated. So let's hook these up and let's see what we get. Now, full disclaimer. These were sent to me by the company. The company's called Lekato, and the unit's called Jamelo. I'll have links in the description, and you guys feel free to use those if you wish. Now, somebody might be asking, why didn't you just try to do this with Bluetooth? I have. Now, the problem with Bluetooth is it has a massive latency, like almost a second. So as you're talking, it takes almost a second to come back into your IEM. And it just doesn't work. I've tried to connect it to the Rodecaster Pro directly through Bluetooth, and I've tried to connect to the computer and monitor it that way, and I still have the same issue. So basically what we're trying to do is eliminate the latency and get a real-time response that would be similar to being wired. We're going to use a 3.5 to 3.5 short cable. I use this for my lavalier mics going into my camera directly. We're going to use the adapter that's been provided to 1/4-inch stereo, and we're basically going to connect this directly to the Rodecaster out on a headphone jack using the transmitter connected to the other end. So pretty simple. I mean, this is how you would connect it to your mixing board or whatever you're using. If you have a Rodecaster Pro 2, just plug that in and your transmitter's ready to go. I'm also engineering something here to see if I can record to my phone. I'm using a basic 3.5 jack splitter for an audio split. So I'm going to connect that to the receiver here, and I'm also going to run to a USB-C for my phone. So what I'm going to attempt to do is record the audio that the receiver is hearing into the phone, and then we'll listen to that on playback as well to get a true reading of what it actually sounds like. I'm going to use my Shure SE215 in-ear monitors. I'm only going to use one. I'll put a link below in the description if you're interested. These things are awesome, and for the price point, they're like $100, but they sound amazing. And I honestly just don't like wearing headphones is why I got them, but they do sound great. But let's power these up. All right, we are on and we are connected, and I can hear myself. And I can tell you already one thing that I've noticed is that there is a latency here. Now, it's nowhere near as bad as a Bluetooth connection because, like I said, that's like a second. Like it actually makes me talk slower when I try to do the Bluetooth. But there is. Let me see. Are we turned all the way up? Okay, now we're all the way up. So let me hit record on the phone. We are now recording on the phone. I see the wave format going into the phone, so we're going to play that back here in just a second. Now, I don't know if there's a hint of distortion in here, or if it's just because the latency makes me think there is. If I turn it up, that's definitely distorting. Yeah, that's probably distorting pretty good right there a little bit. But I do like to have my in-ear monitor fairly loud, you know, whenever I'm live streaming, just because I like the music to be bumping. I like to hear the alerts. So let's try music. This is royalty-free YouTube, just for the record. Let's try something else. Yeah, something that I think might have some bass. Let's see here. I can tell you that the low end doesn't really perform well, but it's clear. It's a clear signal. Yeah, so the low end is not really a full send. It's not terrible. You know what I mean? So the latency issue thing is kind of weird, but I mean, I think I could get used to it. You know what I mean? Let me hear some of this playback. I'm going to be honest. I'm struggling to get audio to you guys through this thing because it's not like a lavalier system. It's not a microphone system. It's obviously processing different. So I tried to plug it into the camera over here, and it was crazy distorted, not a true accurate reading of what it sounds like. The recording I did with my phone to record the audio, that didn't work out. So I'm trying this to see if you can get an idea of what it sounds like. And if this works, then I will play some music as well. And we'll see what music sounds like. Now, I can tell you right now, looking at my camera on my phone here, I'm using the Blackmagic app. It's only showing audio on the left side. Both of these units are set to stereo. So that could just be an issue going dongled in from 3.5 TRRS to USB-C. Actually, I'm connected to a hub, USB-C hub. I might not be able to replicate what I'm hearing for you guys. Yeah. The low end is definitely cut out. I mean, you can hear it, but it's there. And listen, I apologize. I'm struggling to replicate it, right? Like the way that I hear it. I wish you guys could hear it the way I'm hearing it, but you can't because you're not the one speaking. Let's get into the pros and the cons of this system right here, Jamelo, which is made by a company, like I said earlier in the video, called Lekato. And I just want to dive right into the pros and the cons. Big pro number one is the size. These things are very compact. Honestly, it's the exact same size, roughly, as a Rode wireless go-to transmitter or receiver. I would also say connectivity. I mean, as soon as you pull these out of the box and turn these on, they're automatically pairing, and you don't have to fiddle around with trying to get them to connect. I also like the fact that they've covered you with cables, a double USB-C to USB-C-A charger cable, USB-C to USB-C, 3.5 to 3.5, USB-A to USB-C, and of course the adapter that converts 3.5 to 1/4 inch stereo gold-plated. That's a nice bonus. Here's a pro that I can't confirm as of yet. They boast that this system has a 6 to 8 hour battery life. However, I've seen reviews on Amazon where people claim they got 2.5 to 3 hours during live performance. So that may vary. And I imagine if you're trying to use stereo versus mono, the processing power is different for those two categories. And if you're using stereo, you might burn up more battery faster. I would have to say the biggest pro about the Jamelo Wireless IEM System is the price. $49, so most systems out there are $240 to $1,000. Now, if you can live with an 8 millisecond latency, like if you're jamming out on your guitar, and I imagine in a live environment when you're in a actual stage performance, you probably won't even notice that as much as I do just speaking into a mic. Which brings me to the cons. And there's really not many, to be honest. I mean, this comes down to what are you using it for? Just know that if you are using this for vocals, there is enough of a latency to create a dynamic shift inside of your earbuds. So going from wired to this as a wireless system, you're going to acknowledge that there is a latency that is taking place. Now, is it a latency you can live with? Is it minor enough to get you through a live stream? Because remember, I'm only talking about people with podcasts, live streaming, things of this nature. I think I could do it. I'll give you the idea, right? Like when I use a lavalier mic and I have an earbud in, it kind of sounds distant. It's kind of the same sound. It's not that it's such a delay that you can't use it. It's just enough of a dynamic shift that your brain comprehends that there's a latency there. So could you use it? Sure. But would you want to? I don't know. That would be up for you to decide. I'll try it during a live stream and see how I feel about it. But initial thoughts are initial thoughts. And again, the signal's clean. There's not a super amount of bass or bottom end, but that's kind of to be expected, I would imagine, for a low budget entry IEM wireless system. And that's my honest review. If you've enjoyed the content, be sure to sub the channel, hit the bell for notifications and all that. Leave a comment and let me know what you guys think. Let me know of a system that maybe you've used that has a much lower latency that would be ideal for vocals. Big shout out to the people over at Lekato, and thank you for sending over this Jamelo IEM system. I will catch you guys next time. Take care.